Listen, I see some of you gamers struggling with the game Deepwoken. So today's topic is how to play Deepwoken. You know, the Roblox game. Many of you are wondering, where's the Overwatch content? Where's the amazing Genji gameplay? And to that I say, Deepwoken is a roguelike MMORPG. It's kind of like if you took a FromSoft game and forced an Ethernet cable down its throat. It's got parries, giant monsters, dark and gloomy aesthetic, and pain. I died. Yeah, there it is. Bye-bye. Oh, I'm dead. Womp womp.
Whatever will happen. I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I didn't mean it! No! No, I'm sorry! Please! Mommy! No! No!
All the time, people come up to me and ask, how do I block parry dodge? I always just smile at them. They are too ignorant to understand the suffering, the agony behind block, parry, dodge. But if you really want to know, then the answer to that is in this video. So slap on your snorkel gear, because we're going to the depths.
Bro, I was so bad.
Alright, so first things first. You want to start with the brand new character. As a new character, you'll be assigned a random race. Pick your name, customize your appearance. Okay, here's the fun part. You get to pick from 4 elements: Flame Charm, Frost Draw, Thundercall, Gale Breathe, and Infertile. Be careful, you only get to choose the first time. You see, because Deepwoken hates its players, it locks away all other attunements behind a dumbass fetch quest, leaving you grinding for a single fucking frigid prism forever! On subsequent characters, you'll be stuck with the choice of that element, a random element, or attunement list. If you're wondering which attunement to pick, let me break them down for you. First, Flame Charm. Flame Charm's main strength is its damage over time. Landing an ability known as a mantra will light your target on fire, doing damage over time until they roll. This is really useful for any encounter with a humanoid, as the fire will finish off downed enemies. It's also the best way to make your friends hate you. Frost Draw is more versatile, having more mantras than any other element. It excels at slowing opponents, freezing them, and creating physical obstacles on the battlefield. It also has the best mobility move in the game. I haven't done the research, but I'm also 90% sure that it also has the shortest cooldowns, so go ahead and spam your heart out. Gale Breathe is the best all-arounder, having good damage at close range and long range. Its main gimmick is Suffocation, a temporary debuff on your enemies, keeping them from using their mantras. It's easily the most mobile of the 4 starting elements, with most of the talents giving you double jumps, increased climbing speed, and improved gliding, and so on. Lastly, Thundercall. Thundercall is something else, to say the least. Its main gimmick is stunning the enemy until they cry. Thundercall moves will stun the opponent, allowing you to extend combos. There's nothing like keeping your enemy in eternal stun, laughing maniacally as you chip away at their health bar. You might say that it feels frustrating to die of stun, but I can't hear you over the haha funny PP element. Once you've chosen your attunement, you'll need to pick a weapon. Never mind that the technical order on the menu is weapon, then attunement. Shut the fuck up. This is my fucking video. Anyway, weapons. Your options to start are limited, but can be expanded upon by spending echoes. More on that later. The dagger is fast, spammable, and low range. It has a decent selection of weapons, and it makes wielding something in the offhand very attractive, since you can't two-hand a knife. Its short range makes it suffer sometimes, but a good parry or a well-timed mantra will close the gap. Sword is basic. It's a little bit slower than the dagger, but a little bit faster than the great axe. It has a little more range than the dagger, but a little less than the great axe. It does a little more damage than the dagger, but a little less than the great axe. It has the most weapons, and it's pretty good for new players. That said, if you're a true gamer, you'll pick Heavy. Heavy is kind of like if Awesome and Epic had a baby, plus an affair with Fuck Yeah.
Bro, what are you talking about?
Heavy is slow, but powerful. You won't get it hidden at all unless you parry to create an opening. At low levels, this can feel frustrating because you're having to do more to get in a single hit, while the little iPad kid can spam M1 on dagger. But don't worry, you little idiot, Daddy's got you. Once you have a lot of points in weapon, and a better weapon, you're gonna deal so much posture damage that you can just swing wildly. If the enemy dares to miss a single parry against you, their options are either to take 3 bars of damage or to get posture broken. Either way, it's a win for you. Lastly, you will need to pick an origin. As a brand new player, you are stuck with the options of Etris and Isle of Vigils. Etris is bigger, has more shops, more things to do, and overall a better town vibe. But I honestly don't have any idea why you wouldn't pick Isle of Vigils, especially as a new player. Isle of Vigils has the bare minimum of things to buy and people to talk to, but it has something Etris doesn't, a training room. At the bottom of the temple, you can go spar with a training partner and practice combat. When you die, the practice ends and you are restored to full health. This is the only place in the entire game where you can practice. However, the game is a PvP-focused game, and there are no safe zones, so you are still susceptible to players attacking you, like Voidwalkers. Again, more on those later. That reminds me,
Who the fuck is we?
should probably explain the combat. The game runs on parries. A precise presses the block key right as the attack would hit you. The good part of the parry system is that it allows for skilled players to win combat regardless of stats or levels. The bad part of the parry system is the word skill. If you don't have any, you will die. Over and over and over and over. The posture bar is a unique take on a block system.
Unless you played Sekiro, so you ripped it from that game.
Your block is constantly at 0, rising every time you block an attack proportional to the size or damage of the attack you block. When the bar reaches 100%, your posture will break, and whatever attack would have been blocked lands, as well as the player getting stunned for a moment. When you parry, you relieve a lot of posture, and give a lot of posture to your opponent. To new players, a good way to defeat a humanoid enemy is to stand still. Just stop fucking WASDing and press the F key. Once your fingers hurt, hit the enemy right after a parry. The enemy will block it, and voila, you've hit them. Disclaimer, do not try this against a player. They will rock your shit. Instead, try the second combat technique. Run away. Go hide in a bush, or just log out once you're out of danger. There is no shame in survival, but if you run, you are a bitch. Another important part of combat is Ether. Ether is your spam meter. It allows you to overcome your opponents with skill. If you hover your mouse over the bar, it'll tell you the percentage of how much spam you have left. Your Ether will recharge at a rate proportionate to your tempo. Tempo is gained when smacking a bitch up, or getting whooped on yourself. As soon as you enter danger, you'll get a good 60% tempo immediately. When you hit somebody, or they hit you, your tempo will increase. If you do neither, it will go down over time. You can spend tempo by pressing G. This is called venting.
Do it. Do the thing.
Okay, let's get this over with. Woo! Yeah! Among Us joke!
baby.
Yeah! Can I go home now?
Get back to work! Whoops. Whoops.
This will knock away whoever is attacking you, making it a very effective combo breaker. The next step to making a character are your stats. As a brand new player, you probably won't need to worry about these too much. Just make sure you put most of them into weapons, attunement, fortitude, and agility, and you should be okay. That being said, let's go into each one and discuss their strengths and weaknesses. To start off, each stat point doesn't give you much in and of itself, but talents and mantras are usually locked behind stat requirements. Strength will give you extra carrying capacity, armor penetration, and as with all stats, scales with all of your strength mantras. The strength talents are mostly posture based, increasing your block capacity and block damage. The rest of them are based around daze. Things like flourishing an opponent into a wall. Fortitude is health, plain and simple. This stat is very essential, so make sure to always wear a training vest as a new character. That said, Fortitude doesn't give much health per point. Most of the health will come through talents and equipment. Fortitude is required for some pieces of armor, and the few talents and mantras stick to health and reducing debuffs. Agility is your gotta go fast stat. It's going to increase your parkour, like your climb height and your speed boost, and it increases your stealth. Stealth is mostly useless, but the parkour side is very beneficial. Unless you're going for Jet Striker, I'd keep agility anywhere between 15 to 25. Very select weapons require an agility stat. The agility talents are very speed-based, increasing your climb height, giving you speed boost, and increasing your dodge capabilities. The mantras are kinda mid, although Dash and Revenge can come in handy. Intelligence is your dumbass nerd stat, made for stupid boring players. If you want to go around and spam mantras, then this is your stat that you want to dump into. But realize, if you do this, you are acting like a real-life nerd emoji. This stat can be trained with an encyclopedia or a math textbook, where you'll have to answer math questions. And if you're not very good at math, willpower is a stat that you use to increase your tempo and sanity. Sanity is an invisible measurement of how much time your character spends on the Deepwoken subreddit. Sanity is drained constantly while you're in the depths or void zones. It can also be lowered in short bursts by enemies such as Sharko Roars or the Ardor Scream. This stat is useful for players who want to grind in the depths, or players going for a Blind Seer build. Your final stat that isn't a weapon or attunement is Charisma. Charisma increases Ether ever so slightly, but the talents really make it worth it. The talents in this attribute can boost the amount of money that you make when selling stuff, or even making a vow of mastery with your friends. This can be trained with a book called How to Make Friends, which truth is, most characters and PCs respond negatively after reading a line from this book. Weapon stats just make your weapon do more ouchie points, and also unlock different mantras depending on the type of weapon you use. Keep in mind that doing no magic march is a terrible idea. If you want to use only mantras from your weapon, you will not be able to do any of the anime sword boy stuff that you want to do without having an attunement. The others, weapons and attunement, are pretty self-explanatory, just increasing your damage in those aspects. As far as builds go, I'll go over a few basic ones just to introduce you to them. Builds are built on 3 factors: weapon, attunement, and oath.
Bells, murmurs.
No, they are not ready. Oaths are kind of like classes. You start as a Pathfinder, an everyday, ordinary schmuck. By meeting certain requirements such as stats or circumstances, you can obtain an oath. Each character can only have 1 oath, and oaths themselves usually have progression built into them. As a new player, you probably won't obtain an oath for a little while. I know I said they were classes, but the requirements to obtain one range from inconvenient to very difficult. An example of this is Jet Striker. By getting 50 agility and traveling to Mini Teresa, then talking to this NPC and beating them in a race, you'll get the Jet Striker oath. Jet Striker will give you another mobility mantra slot, 8 passive agility, 5 health, and 2 posture immediately upon obtaining it. This isn't much, but it's a little mini stat boost focused on mobility. On top of this, talking to the NPC again reveals the details of your progression. You are tasked to travel around the Etrian Luminant, finding some tasty, juicy farts, and you need to inhale them. Once you've smelt them, go back to the NPC and tell them what they smell like, and they'll give you 1 talent per fart. Jet Striker is definitely not bad, but certainly not broken. It serves as a nice little boost to your character, and is the easiest to obtain. On the flip side, there's Contractor. Contractor is extremely difficult to obtain, requiring you to get a neutral or positive reputation with Mini Teresa. You can check your reputation at Campfire. Get a positive reputation with Etria, enough to start the Duke of Arisia questline. Go to the Lord region and choose a special dialogue after killing Duke of Arisia. Make a deal with 4 different deep shrines. Unlock your resonance. Go to the depths and talk to Young Shul Shrine. Go back to the region. It offers you 2 combat mantra slots and 10 ether upon obtaining it. The progression to murder players in the depths. The mantras that come out of it are pretty useful, making the oath on the much better side. Anyway, as far as a new player goes, you probably won't get an oath your first time playing, and that's okay. They're not required or anything, it's just that most builds factor them in, as well as weapon and attunement. 2 examples of this are Heavy Attunement List, Silent Heart, Knife, Gale Breath, Jet Striker, Fist, Flame Charm, Blind Seer, things like that. A personal favorite of mine is Rapier, Frost Draw, and Vision Shaper. The early game is going to consist mainly of 3 things: fighting enemies, obtaining loot, and increasing stats. Oh, in dying. Make that 4 things. When you press the tab button, you'll see 3 items: your attunement trainer, your highest stats trainer, and your guide to beat a child. Don't worry, if you want to train other stats, which I'm sure you will, you can just buy the other item trainers. Oh wait, you're flat broke. Damn, guess you gotta make some money real quick, huh? Well, go to this guy at Isle of Vigils, ask him how to make money, and then ask him for some spare change. Take his money and then immediately quit the quest it gives you, because you're already watching this video.
Wait, so why the fuck are we doing this?
Shut the fuck up! Then, with Lance's food stand, ask how you can help, and he'll give you a massive box. Then you run back to the massive temple and turn it into this guy. You'll get roughly 50 notes. Buy the ankle weights because you'll be running around like a lost child in Walmart, almost 100% of the time. Next, probably pick up a training vest, as this will change your fortitude. If you already have one of these two, the next best thing is to buy either a dumbbell or prayer beads, depending on what build you want. For a new player, strength is your best bet. You remember that dying bit? Well, remember you aren't the only person playing this game. Some other gamers will find your sweet freshy character ripe for the killing. You see, this guy is called a Voidwalker. Their main objective is to kill you for their progression. Their second objective is to wait until you're fighting an NPC and then fight you after you've gotten low. So they don't have to do any of the hard work. If you are a Voidwalker watching this video, fuck you and your mama. You have 2 options when it comes down to these creatures: run or die. At a low level, there isn't really much you can do, but if you think you can handle them, go ahead. When you die, don't come to my comment section with boo-hoo, my character got sent to the depths because 2 Voidwalkers beat me up. Listen, the things you have to fight are not easy. Some are able to use a heavy kick that ragdolls. Others, fast attacks that destroy all of your health. And others just won't let you get a single hit in. When it comes down to it, pick your battles. If you want to fight Squidward tentacles, go ahead. If you want to fight the physical embodiment of a Beyblade, be my guest. Who am I to judge? Do you want a big titty vampire lady to step on you? Well, that's too bad, because women aren't real. Anyway, with the ability to choose, you can pick your battles you can't win. So just keep in mind that running is an option. Just remember, if you run, you are a bitch. Monsters you will face on the first island are either Sharkos, which are actually called Megalodons, or what's called a brain sucker. These are the little flying things that follow your ship. As a new spawn, these things will give you the hands, because you may not have the health to deal with it. However, these things do next to nothing as long as you have more than 5 fortitude. After successfully beating up one of the multi-eyed bat things, you'll move on to fight the bald-headed fish that has scleroderma. Truth of the matter, these are truly the ones you need to worry about while in the first sea. The Sharko can slap you around, or kick you so hard you go flying, or shoot you with needles. And boy oh boy, does all of that hurt. So here you are, sad and alone and on the verge of your character wiping. The next step is to learn how to get the hell out of hell. As a new player, this will be difficult, so you might die and cry after losing your first 15 characters. But to those who stayed and watched until this point in the video, I'm going to show you how to get out. As long as you don't get murked by the white-faced owl or the coral fish giant, or Squidward, because he tends to be lurking around those corners. If you look around and you don't find a door or a city in sight, make sure you look around for a massive wall. This will be your guiding post to escape. Walk around the wall until you find a door. Once you get into the city, quickly run to your left. Look up at the building. There you will see a stack of barrels someone so kindly left for you, because their agility was a -6. Climb on top of those. Start running, and then slide jump off the barrels and onto the wall. Make sure you roll after you've gotten to the highest climb you can get to. You should now be on top of the wall. Run across the wall until you get to the middle. Jump down. Psych, just kidding, that shit hurts. Don't do that. Instead, jump to these spots, and slowly work your way down. Go to the elevator and pull the lever. When escaping, you may have to fight a monster, depending on how many times you've been there. So, kiss that brand new character bye-bye in the final stage, the Fragments of Self. Deepwoken is a mystical and entrancing adventure, but can be very hard to get into. The more you keep working on the fundamentals of the game, the more likely you will be skilled enough to get past level 2. And trust me, it is a hard grind to get better. What this game comes down to is your ability to block, parry, and dodge.